take us back to how you started Barefoot Wine. What actually inspired you? I know that was many, many years ago. What inspired you at the time to start your own business?
Well, it wasn't our love of wine. It was our love of the wine country, which is where we live. But it was an opportunity that we couldn't pass up. Right, Michael?
Well, a lot of people say follow your passion.
Yes.
But we say follow your opportunity, because that's going to happen more often.
And follow it passionately.
But don't give up on your passion. So we had an opportunity to settle a debt for Bonnie's client, who was a grape grower who wasn't paid for his grapes for 3 years. And I had just met Bonnie, and she immediately said, listen, I've got a collection for you. This guy, this winery owes my client $300,000. Why don't you go see what you can do? So I went up there to talk to him. And when I showed up, they had declared bankruptcy that day. And the guard said, well, I hope you're not here to collect, because you got to take a ticket and wait your turn. So we went through with the meeting anyway, and we were able to negotiate a trade. And the trade was, we'll cancel the debt for goods and services. Now the goods were bulk wine. They hadn't been bottled. They were in big steel tanks, thousands of gallons in each tank. And the other part of the trade was for services, which was bottling services, which was taking the wine that was in those tanks and putting it in bottles. Now, no label, no marketing program, no nothing.
Sales.
Instead of getting paid in money, you get paid in glass bottles of wine. All right. So now we thought, well.
And we had to buy the glass.
Yeah. And so here we are. We're like, as we say, we're an inch closer to the money, but we're not even a foot closer. It's like, this is really going to be tough, but we don't know it. So we say, well, we have to come up with a label. We have to come up with a buyer. We have to understand the distribution system, come up with a marketing program. How hard can that be?
And how long could it take?
Right.
We thought maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah,
it took 20.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's a something that started as what seemed like a transaction turns into a business. That's amazing. Yeah.
A triathlon. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. A transaction to a triathlon.
So, I have a clip here I want to play for our audience, and the clip is related. The question that I have that I want to play this clip for is how you came up with the famous footprint logo. And so, let's play that clip.
She needed to make it solid. She needed Michael to draw it, and she needed this to happen fast. That's why she was almost vibrating to get it out, and why she hustled a half-asleep Michael to the little green chalkboard in the kitchen.
I know what the label looks like. This is going to be a big success. I could see it stacked in supermarkets. This is going to sell a lot of wine.
Michael picked up the chalk and started to draw.
Quick. Draw a foot.
What kind of foot?
A nice foot. Just draw it.
Michael sketched a slim right foot along the bottom of the chalkboard.
No. Stand it up.
He erased it and drew one with the heel at the bottom and the toes straight up.
Close. Tilt it to the right.
He erased and drew again.
No, more tilt. Just a little. Make it look like there's some motion. It's like someone is stepping up.
Bonnie's voice was getting louder. She was talking faster, feeling like this was even more urgent. Her panic was growing. They could not lose this idea.
Is that it?
By now, the chalkboard had a layer of white dust from all the erased chalk.
Really close. The foot should look like an exclamation point, an italicized exclamation point. And give it a little more arch.
It got more tilt. It got more arch.
How's that?
Now write barefoot.
Michael put down barefoot next to the angled drawing.
Closer. Move it closer. Put the T all the way inside the arch.
Bonnie stopped bouncing and looked at it. The board was nearly white. The air was filled with chalk dust. They stood silently, surrounded by their intensity. Both were taking big breaths. Bonnie's fear had dissipated. They looked at a slim right foot, pointing up at a 2 o'clock angle, acting as an exclamation point for the barefoot written into the arch. They both thought it was good, but they had no idea that in not much more than a decade, it would become an iconic national label.
There. That's what the label looks like. That's gonna sell a lot of wine.
Okay, so we're back, and I'd love to hear any additional thoughts or comments on that clip and on that topic of how you came up with the logo.
Well, we went out and asked a lot of questions, besides the fact that it suddenly came to me in the whole picture of what the logo looked like. It came from the answers that we received from a number of people. Again, putting yourself in the other guy's shoes, we wanted to find out what was important to different people that touched our product. So Michael had gone out and he talked to a top wine buyer here in California, and we got a lot of great information from him, like make the name the same as the logo, for instance, which we did. And we also asked questions from the bottling line manager. What should the label look like? And he showed us labels that had been bottled over the past 20 years on that bottling line. And the ones that did very well, they'd been bottled over and over again. They had a nice clean picture. You could see the image and it just kind of jumped right off the bottle and you could easily recognize what was going on. The ones that didn't do so well had a lot of curly cues in the script, and maybe they were dark or they had images that couldn't be seen from 4 feet away. So that was all incorporated into this label that suddenly I knew what it looked like.
And the other thing I'd like to add to what Bonnie said is, did you notice how this was performed for you and not just read to you? So that's what business audio theater really is. You become immersed in the story because this is 3D audio. The movie is taking place in your brain. And so, you always see those old pictures of the family in the living room, focused on the radio. And you say, well, why are they focused on the radio? On the speaker, there's no screen there. What are they looking at? Well, they're looking at the motion picture in their brain that is coming in through their ears, and they're participating in the story. So that's what's really neat about that clip, is it not just tells you the content of what Bonnie's talking about, how the foot came into being, but the way it's being presented to you is also revolutionary.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think that's an exciting way to teach, having been an instructor on the faculty at Portland State University in accounting for over a decade. I was always looking for exciting ways to teach what otherwise could be a fairly stale topic for a lot of people, particularly the general business majors that maybe just had to take an accounting class. So I definitely appreciate the theatrical elements in delivering material like this. That's wonderful.